Walter Warlimont was a German officer known for his role as a deputy chief in the Oberkommando der Wehrmacht, Germany's supreme armed forces command during World War II, World War I and interwar years. Warlimont was born in Osnabrück, Germany, in June 1914, just before the start of World War I. He was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the 10th Prussian Foot Artillery Regiment based in Alsace. During the war, he served as an artillery officer and battery commander in France and later in Italy. In late 1918, he served in General Ludwig Mayrker's Freikorps Jäger Rifle Corps. In the interwar years, Warlimont served in various military roles. In 1922, he served in the 6th Artillery Regiment and in 1927, as a captain, he was the second adjutant to General Werner von Blomberg, chief of the Truppen, the covert German General Staff. In May 1929, Warlimont was attached to the U.S. Army for a year to study American industrial mobilization theory during wartime. This led to his service between 1930 and 1933 as a major on the staff of the Industrial Mobilization Section of the German Defense Ministry. He became the section's chief in 1935. Between August and November 1936, following the outbreak of the Spanish Civil War, Warlimont served as the Reich War Minister s Wehrmacht plenipotentiary delegate to the government of Spanish General Francisco Franco in Spain. Reich War Minister Werner von Blomberg directed Warlimont to coordinate German aid in support of Franco's battle against the Spanish government forces. In 1937, he wrote the Warlimont Memorandum calling for the reorganization of the German armed forces under one staff unit and one supreme commander. The plan was to limit the power of the high officer caste in favor of Adolf Hitler. On the basis of this memorandum, Hitler developed the Oberkommando der Wehrmacht, with Hitler as supreme commander. Warlimont was rewarded in 1939 with a post as deputy to General Alfred Jodl. In 1938 he was promoted to colonel and became commander of the 26th Artillery Regiment. World War II. In late 1938, Warlimont became Senior Operations Staff Officer to General Wilhelm Keitel. This was a coveted position, and so between September 1939 and September 1944 he served as Deputy Chief of the Operations Staff. General Jodl was his superior officer, who served as Chief of the Operations Staff, which was responsible for all strategical, executive and war operations planning. While serving on this military operations planning staff, in early 1939 he assisted in developing some of the German military invasion plans of Poland. On the 1st of September 1939, German military forces invaded Poland, thereby starting World War II. 1940 saw his promotion to General Major, and he assisted in developing the invasion plans of France. In 1941, he continued to assist in developing invasion operations into Russia. This earned his promotion to General Lieutenant in 1942. His meteoric advancement in rank almost sputtered out on the 3rd of November 1942 when he was relieved of his job after a junior officer failed to process a message from Field Marshal Erwin Rommel sufficiently promptly. However, only 5 days later he was recalled to duty to visit the French Vichy government in France to coordinate the defense of the colonial territories from possible occupation by the Allies. In February 1943, Warlimont traveled to Tunis to confer with Rommel as to whether or not the Germans should abandon North Africa. In early 1944, Warlimont was promoted to General der Artillerie. As Deputy Chief of the Armed Forces Operations Staff, he continued to give almost daily briefings to Hitler regarding the status of German military operations. On D-Day, when the Allies invaded Normandy, France, Warlimont telephoned General Jodl to request that the German tanks in Normandy should be released to attack the Allied invaders. Jodl responded that he did not want to make the decision, they would have to wait until Hitler awoke. Once Hitler awoke and authorized the release of the tanks for a counter-attack, it was too late to blunt the successful Allied invasion. The following day, Hitler sent Warlimont to inspect the German defenses in Italy. On the 20th of July 1944, Warlimont was wounded during the ill-fated assassination bombing against Hitler in a war briefing building in Reisenberg. He suffered a mild head concussion. Later in the day he telephoned Field Marshal Gunther von Kluge and convinced him that Hitler was alive. This prompted von Kluge not to continue in the anti-Hitler coup. Even though Warlimont was wounded alongside Hitler, nonetheless, he was wrongly viewed as possibly having been involved in the anti-Hitler conspiracy. In spite of this, he belatedly received the special 20th of July Wound Badge, which was awarded only to those few wounded or killed in the 20th of July explosion. On the 22nd of July, Warlimont traveled to France to meet with Field Marshal Rommel and Rommel's naval aide Vice Admiral Friedrich Ruge, to discuss the deteriorating battlefield situation in Normandy. Even though Hitler ordered Warlimont to travel to Paris on the 1st of August to study the German military situation with Field Marshal von Kluge, Hitler thought that Warlimont might have been involved in the conspiracy to have him assassinated. On the 2nd of August, Warlimont met outside Paris with General Gunther Blumentritt and advised him that Hitler wanted the Germans to regain the attack initiative against the Allies through Operation Liege. Later, Warlimont urged General Heinrich Kaberbach to continue his attacks in the Falaise Pocket region. Although all the German generals informed Warlimont that they believed the attack would fail, he cabled Hitler that the generals were confident of success. Even Warlimont's boss, General Jodl, believed similarly of Warlimont's possible untrustworthiness. But Warlimont was not involved with the anti-Hitler movement. Warlimont still carried out Hitler's directives, but he was becoming disillusioned with Hitler and realized that Germany would be defeated. Despite his doubts about Warlimont's trustworthiness, during September 1944 General Jodl considered making Warlimont his chief of staff. However, at Warlimont's request, due to his dizzy spells resulting from the 20th of July assassination bombing against Hitler, he was transferred and retired to the OKH command pool, and was not further employed during the war. Throughout the war, Warlimont and his boss General Jodl had a very strained working relationship. Trial and conviction. In October 1948, Warlimont was tried as a war criminal before a United States military tribunal in the High Command trial because he passed on Hitler's directive that Allied commandos should be executed instead of being held as prisoners of war, the so-called Commando Order. He was convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment. However, in 1951 his sentence was reduced to 18 years. In 1957 there was an amnesty for certain prisoners, and he was finally released from Landsberg prison. After the war he engaged in writing various war historical studies. In 1962, Warlimont wrote Inside Hitler's Headquarters 1939 to 1945. Hugh Thomas wrote, Warlimont became renowned, with Keitel and Jodl, as one of the German officers most loyal to Hitler and was accordingly sentenced to 18 years imprisonment in 1949 as a minor war criminal. Walter Warlimont died in Kruth near the Tegernsee. Family. Walter Warlimont was a son of Louis Warlimont and Anna Ring. His parents came from Eupen, today part of the German-speaking community of Belgium, and migrated to Osnabrück. His father was a bookman and antiquarian. Walter Warlimont married 1927 Anita von Kleedorf, daughter of Franz Eigenjäfer Maria and Eberhard Franz Emil von Kleedorf, a son of Prince Emil zu Wittgenstein-Berleburg and U.S.-born Paula Bush, a niece of Adolphus Bush. His wife lived during World War I in the USA.